What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to the It's Jimmy Show, your daily source for the fourth stimulus check updates and what's going on in the world. Let me know what you think of my new intro, as this is the very first episode where I called it the It's Jimmy Show. Let me know your thoughts. Do you like it? Do you like the intro? And it'll kind of help us going forward here with our daily show that we pretty much already do. Lots to talk about in today's episodes. We're going to talk about tax refunds, money that's owed to you, money that might be owed to the IRS, as well as we're going to hear directly from President Biden on the next infrastructure/stimulus package and about the fourth and upcoming monthly possible stimulus checks. That's right. Lawmakers are pushing for not just a fourth stimulus check, but for monthly recurring stimulus checks. We're going to get to all the breaking info right now. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new episodes of the It's Jimmy Show and new updates on the fourth round of stimulus. And don't forget to hit the like button, and here we go. First up, President Biden on the infrastructure/stimulus package.
We build America by doing big things, by thinking big, doing it together. We built the interstate highway system. We went to the moon. But then we stopped. Since the 1980s, public domestic investment has fallen substantially. What do we have to show for it? Crumbling bridges and roads, millions of Americans without safe drinking water, and an internet barely available to the huge swath of the country. Last week, I released the American Jobs Plan, and I want to talk about it for a few minutes with you. But first, I want to talk to you about why investing in our country matters. When we've invested in America, in innovation, we've been rewarded beyond imagination. Take the space race. Now, everybody knows we went to the moon. It was an achievement not just for our country, but for the world. Our investment yielded a return far greater than landing on the moon. Baby food, digital camera sensors, airplane wing designs, satellites, all of these things came out of the money spent on space research. When we invested in the interstate highway system, we changed the way people travel and how we lived. Suddenly, a family could visit anyone across the country in a station wagon. A business in Pittsburgh could ship things more efficiently across the country to Portland. Since then, research from the federal government has led to innovations like GPS, lithium batteries, the technology behind the very phone you might be watching this on. I raise these things not to have government take credit. Lots of brilliant people in the public and private sector have contributed to our country's progress. But that's the point. The worst thing you can do is bet against the ingenuity of the American people. When we stop investing in research, infrastructure, and jobs of the future, you can bet someone else will do that investment we're not doing. For too long, America has been falling back. The rest of the world is closing in and closing in on us fast. I'm asking you not just to support the bill in Congress or a government program. I'm asking you to imagine a world where you and your family can travel coast to coast without a single tank of gas or on board a high-speed train. Imagine being able to connect to high-speed, affordable, reliable internet wherever you live. Imagine a future where we lead the world and tackle the looming threat of climate change and with American jobs and ingenuity. This isn't a hypothetical proposition. This is a plan. It can happen. It's my American Jobs Plan, and you can check it out on my website. This moment in the economy calls for America, not just the private sector, but the public sector, all of us to do our part. This can be a moment that America wins the future. It's going to take every American to get there. So let's do big things, think big. There's nothing beyond our capacity.
I like the thought of that, to think that I just turned 40 years old, and my son will be turning 3 years old in 13 days on April 27th. And when I was growing up, internet wasn't even a thing. I don't think the World Wide Web was invented until 1990, not until I was 9 years old. So to think as a kid that we would have something called the internet, which goes through the air, through space, and it's just magically travels through the air to you, and you can get it on a handheld device and be able to chat with anybody all around the world and buy things and have them delivered to your door the very next day. What was a complete fairy tale. It was something you might hear about in a cartoon when I was a kid, and now it's a reality. Just to think that that happened in 20 or 30 years. Imagine where the next 20 or 30 years could take us. It's crazy to think that yes, there's space magic waves flying through the air right now to bring you guys Wi-Fi internet access. Yeah, it's if you would have told me that as a kid, or you would have told my parents that, and I would have been able to tell my parents that I'd be here talking to millions and millions of people on the internet. In fact, we're coming up on 100 million views. My parents would have probably thought I was crazy. But here I am talking to you, and what even sounds even better is the chance of a fourth stimulus check, or actually even better than that would be monthly recurring stimulus checks until the pandemic is over. In fact, a new poll shows that 65% of Americans support $2,000 monthly stimulus payments. 65% of Americans. That's a good thing because that is something that the Democrats will point to when they go to the decision of should we include a monthly stimulus check in this next package, or should it just be a single stimulus check included in this infrastructure package? They'll look to things like that to say, 65% of people support it. Remember, a supermajority in Congress is 66%. That is the number that is needed to override a presidential veto. That only happened to President Donald Trump one time. So that shows how rare it is to actually get both House and Senate to have 66% or two-thirds majority and override a presidential veto. That's considered a supermajority. Anything 66 or 67% or higher. So 65% of Americans saying that they do want to have the government fund this and pay for this is a very big number. Nearly two-thirds of Americans are on board with a progressive proposal, backed by some Massachusetts lawmakers, calling on the federal government to cut monthly $2,000 stimulus checks to Americans over the course of the pandemic, a new poll shows. 65% of respondents say they'd support recurring $2,000 stimulus checks, an idea still advocated by Senators Ed Markey and Bernie Sanders, who, along with Vice President Kamala Harris, proposed a bill for monthly stimulus checks back in May. 41% of respondents strongly support the idea, while 24% somewhat support it. This has been reintroduced as a bill in the Senate by Senator Ed Markey and Elizabeth Warren for $2,000 monthly stimulus checks until the pandemic is over. This is the Senate bill, or the bill that's been introduced in the Senate. The House of Representatives also has their own bill for monthly recurring stimulus checks, although this one is for a one-time $2,000 stimulus check and then $1,000 monthly recurring stimulus payments until 1 year after the pandemic is over. The earliest the pandemic could be declared over would be the end of this year, so think December 31st at the absolute earliest. This bill would pay $1,000 monthly stimulus checks for 12 months after the pandemic is declared over. And first, if you're looking at the negative point of view that monthly stimulus checks could never happen, well, first of all, they're already happening. Get to that here in a quick second. But second of all is that if they push for monthly stimulus checks, maybe they negotiate it down to just a single stimulus check. And honestly, I think at this point, a President Biden fourth stimulus check, the lowest amount that is likely is $1,400, the same amount from the third stimulus check. The lowest amount they're currently proposing is $2,000. So at worst case scenario, maybe they negotiate down to a fourth stimulus check, a single check of $1,400 or $2,000. However, the Democrats have already started the monthly stimulus check program for children and for parents of children of $300 per month for children under the age of 6 and $250 for children over the age of 6 through the child income tax credit. This is $3,000 for children over the age of 6 and $3,600 for children under the age of 6. This is already passed. It's already in the books. It's already finalized. The IRS is setting up the program to start these monthly payments in July. So monthly stimulus payments are already a thing. They're already starting for people with children and for the parents to help pay for the children. This actually originally started with former President Donald Trump, and even before him, the child income tax credit used to be as low as $500, then $1,000. Then former President Donald Trump raised it to $2,000. His daughter, Ivanka Trump, gets some of the credit for that. She's the one that kind of championed and pushed for it. And President Donald Trump raised it to $2,000. However, it was not paid on monthly payments. It was basically on a tax refund. You would get it when tax time comes. Well, now President Biden and the Democrats that have passed the third stimulus check package. I say the Democrats because not a single Republican voted for the third stimulus check package. So I don't know if I could give them any credit. Not that I'm Republican or Democrat. I tend to see things from both sides and take a more realist point of view. But not a single Republican voted for the third stimulus check package. And from the way things are looking, it's very likely we won't see a single Republican vote for the infrastructure slash stimulus package either. Although the Senate parliamentarian ruled that the Democrats can pass at least two more bills this fiscal year, which is up until October, with the reconciliation process, and then they can pass more. So at this point, the Democrats can pretty much pass as many packages as they want within reason through the reconciliation process at least for the next year and a half until the 2022 elections, when everybody in the U.S. House of Representatives will be up for reelection. The Democrats hold a 10-seat lead in the U.S. House of Representatives. It's very, very slim out of 435 members. So if they lose 5 seats, then the Republicans would gain 5, they would lose 5. It would be a tied House. If they lose 6 seats, then Republicans will take over the U.S. House of Representatives. In fact, in the last election, you can see the Democrats suffered a loss of 13 seats in the House of Representatives, reducing their margin from 36-seat lead now down to just 10. If that happened again, even a fraction of that, they would only need to lose 6 seats this time around. Republicans could take control of the House, or they would take control of the House if that happened. In the Senate, the Republicans only need to gain 1 seat, as it's a 50-50 tie, and the Democrats have the lead because of that tie, because the tiebreaker goes to the vice president, and we know the Democrats control the presidency, vice presidency, the House, and the Senate, completing what they call the blue wave, where the Democrats have swept everything. However, the Democrats only have this lead for the next year and a half, or year and 8 months, something like that, until the next election, which all of the House of Representatives will be up for re-election. They serve 2-year terms. And 1/3 of the Senate will be up for re-election as senators serve 6-year terms. Mitch McConnell was just reelected for another 6-year term. Mitch McConnell is currently 79 years old, and he will be serving 6 more years in the U.S. Senate before he's even up for re-election. Both Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi from the House and the Senate won their elections by landslides. Landslides. And Nancy Pelosi won by like 80% to 20%. Nancy Pelosi only serves 2-year terms. However, every 2 years, she seems to win by a complete landslide in her district in California. Mitch McConnell also won by a landslide, but not as much. He had a little bit of competition. However, senators are elected for 6 years. So Mitch will be in there for 6 years. Nancy will be in there for 2 years, but likely much longer, as they seem to win with ease, and likely will be there until they decide to retire. I don't know if Mitch is going to try to run again, because when he goes up for re-election again, he'll be 85 years old, and if he goes again, that'll be another 6-year term until he's 91. So we talk about Mitch McConnell sending his bills to the graveyard. I mean, he he might end up there himself, still in the Senate at that point, because man, who wants to work until you're 91? But I mean, especially because both Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi are worth tens and tens of millions. In fact, Nancy Pelosi has been estimated to be worth over $100 million too. So their salaries of a couple $100,000 is peanuts compared to how much they're actually worth. So it makes you wonder how they're worth millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, when they only make, say, actually the Speaker of the House's salary is $223,000. That's a lot, but that's not like $100 million a lot. So 223,000 after 10 years would be 2.2 million. That's before taxes and paying your rent and paying your all your bills, right? That's not $100 million. So it makes you wonder how they've accumulated tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars while being in Congress for the last 30 years. Yeah, it's one of those things that make you go, hmm. Not only does the IRS plan to roll out the child income tax credits on monthly payments, monthly stimulus checks starting in July, they're also trying to get the $10,200 unemployment benefit money back in May, along with still sending out some of the fourth wave or possibly even fifth wave of the third stimulus check at this point. So it's fair to say that the IRS is extremely busy and actually very far behind. I've seen lots of people say that their tax refund has been filed for months and they're still waiting months now for their 2020 tax refund. I've seen some people say they filed their refund or their taxes in February and they're still waiting for their IRS tax refund or their refund from their 2020 taxes here now in 2021. So the question is, when will the IRS catch up and send everybody their tax refund? Well, the answer is hopefully soon. Remember, the IRS has for stimulus checks, they have the IRS Get My Payment tool that you can check on and possibly gets your stimulus check information when they're sending it and how they're sending it. They also have an IRS Get My Refund tool, which a lot of people don't know about, which is basically a way to check the status of your refund. However, the tricks that we learned in the last few weeks will apply to both. You may need to put your address in all capitals. You may need to put it in all lowercase. You may need to format it in the exact words or the exact way that the IRS has your address on file. I've seen some people even say, Jimmy, I had to actually put my P.O. box address in there, and that finally got the system to give me some information instead of status unavailable. Those are tricks we just learned in the recent weeks. So yeah, you need to put the official address the IRS has for you. So that might be your P.O. box or something like that. You might need to put it in all capitals. That trick worked for a lot of people. And this works for both the Get My Payment tool and the Get My Refund tool. And this will also apply for the next stimulus check, the fourth stimulus check, when they pass it. These nice little tricks will help a lot of people from not getting status unavailable. Go and see if you have a letter from the IRS that you filed away, the most recent letter from them, and see how they put your address and put it into the tool with that exact wording, those exact letters, and exact capitalization in the exact same way the IRS had. And that very likely might be the reason you're getting status unavailable on either one of the tools. And hopefully we'll get some information spit back out to you from the IRS system. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on updates on the fourth and upcoming round of stimulus. There's a lot on the horizon, including student loan forgiveness, possible Social Security increases, monthly stimulus checks, child income tax credits. Also, they're looking to expand the child income tax credits for more than just 1 year, possibly even permanently. And yeah, there's a lot on the horizon, including Medicare expansion. They want to add extra benefits like dental and hearing coverage to Medicare. There's so many different things on the horizon that we'll cover here on our show. So make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. After subscribing, click the bell icon to all notifications to get reminder notifications when we go live, which is every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss a show because we cover different things in different shows, and you don't want to miss out on something that might pertain to you and your money. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. Me and my wife sell products on Amazon, and we teach people how to replace their 9 to 5 income selling products on Amazon. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.